Welcome to another edition of the Commissioner's Report. I'm your host, Tricia Pichette. At present, there are over 660,000 people in Polk County. By 2040, we anticipate over 1 million people in Polk County, and with that kind of growth comes certain challenges. Well, we're here today with Commissioner Martha Santiago and Ronnie Blackshear from the Polk Transportation Planning Organization to talk about one of those issues, which is transportation. Now, I'm sure you're hearing from your constituents comments about transportation problems they're having now. Is there anything you'd like to know about the future plans for transportation in your area?
Well, sure. Thank you for having me, and thank you for being here today. One of the things that I hear the most is, of course, transportation, roads, and things like that. And right at the very top of the subject is the Polk Parkway, the Central Polk Parkway. So maybe you can share with us some information about it, some updates and things like that.
Sure. The BOCC is also partnering with the Florida Department of Transportation and also the Turnpike Enterprise to construct segment 1 of the Polk Parkway. The Polk Parkway is actually about 8 segments. Segment 1 is actually at the southern end, beginning from the existing Polk Parkway to the State Road 60. Central Polk Parkway is, like I said, is 8 segments. It's segment 1 that's being looked at with us partnering with the FDOT and the Turnpike Enterprise. It's the #1 TPO adopted priority project for 2018. As far as the Northeast, and I know the Northeast Polk is probably the fastest growing area in Polk County. There are other studies that are going on. The construction of the Polk Parkway is quite expensive, as you might imagine. We have US 27 study that's going on. There are certain things that are actually happening in Osceola County. Other studies, and I'll kind of get into some of the other projects that will affect the Northeast Polk as we move on.
Well, it's good to hear that at least the Polk Parkway is still on the map for the Northeast, and I'm sure you'll touch on that a little bit later on, because I know my constituents will be very, very important. But another, or a lot of calls and emails that I get are about Old Wilson Road, Lake Wilson Road, yeah. So can you tell us what's being proposed for that area?
Yes, Lake Wilson Road is also in the Northeast Polk area. I'd say community investment project that the board is also looking at widening Lake Wilson Road from 2 lanes to 4 lanes. Currently, there are plans that are at 60% of design completion that are being submitted, that has been submitted and are being reviewed by Polk County staff. Plans at 90% design completion will be submitted in July of 2019. Also, right-of-way acquisition is scheduled to begin in 2019 and construction in late 2020.
Okay, so that's like right around the corner.
Yes,
that's
it
good,
is.
Patricia.
Help is coming.
I'm sure that our constituents in the Northeast area are very happy about that, because I've driven around the area also just to see what they're talking about, and I can see the backup and what they're going through. Last Thursday, I was in Poinciana. And I met with like maybe 30 or 40 people from the Poinciana area. And I know, one of the concerns, of course, is construction, is roads and access to either 1792, to the Sunrail, to all these different places. So I know that there are 2 main projects in Poinciana that are going to be taking place in Poinciana. Could you give us details? And I like the fact that you put dates, a time frame with it, because it helps us to see when the projects will at least start anyway.
Yeah, another community investment project that's underway, a consultant has been selected to do professional engineering services, design and permitting, is for Marigold Avenue and Cypress Parkway, the Cypress Parkway area. A recommendation went to the board today, actually, and that was on the consent agenda to authorize staff to enter into an agreement with one of the consultant services for Marigold and Cypress Parkway, and I believe that has been that was approved on consent agenda.
Yes, it was.
Another priority project that's occurring in the Northeast Polk area, actually, it's mainly in that area, but it also affects certain other parts of Polk County. Is there's 2 transit routes that the board is considering. The provision of transit service is considered important to the board. With that said, transit investment options have been identified in Northeast Polk. There's 2 routes that they are considering. One is the Lake Wales to Posner Park route, and also the Lothman area flex route in the area of Ronald Reagan Parkway and US 17. I know that we'll be working with the Citrus Connection, the transit agency. I don't have any dates on that portion of it, but I know that that's on the way, and the board is considering that for 2020.
Yeah, the transit, bus transit is very, very important for the 27 corridor, because apparently they didn't have any, so now they're going to be able to go up to Posner. And I don't know if any of you have been to the Posner area, where all these stores, I mean, Posner is just really expanding. So I know people will want to go there to do some shopping.
Yep.
Absolutely, that's where I go to do my shopping. So having the bus transit to go up to Posner will be good. And if I'm not mistaken, at the Posner area, they can then transfer to other buses and things like that. They would take them to different places.
As my understanding that Lynx, the service that's out of our Orlando
Lynx,
area,
okay.
will also provide service to Posner Park, and so individuals who want to transfer or actually get onto those buses and ride up to the Orlando area, they could do so, whether it be jobs or shopping or what have you.
Huh. If we could go back for a minute, Marigold Avenue and Cypress Parkway, what is being planned there?
I don't really have that. I know that there's just permitting and engineering services that have been secured, and we've actually hired a consultant for that. That's something that is forthcoming, so I don't know exactly what it entails at this point.
So we know there's a problem. We have a
problem.
Consultant sort of looking in to see how best to deal with it?
Expanding those roads, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're going to do 4 lanes then. I don't know where it starts or where it ends. I've been told, but I don't remember it for right now on Marigold. And then also on Cypress Parkway is also going to be 4-laned, but I don't remember exactly where it's going to start, where it's going to end. So maybe that's something we could, as we continue to report, we can report later on specifics on that. But again, that's going to be great.
Yeah, I will say that we are working with Osceola County, so we're working with our partnering county to look at the expansion of those roadways and within that area. And US 27, like I said, from South County line to the North County line is being looked at. So we're looking at other alternative roadways as we kind of, I guess, look and engage into what's actually happening in Northeast Polk with it growing so.
So it's not only helping with the traffic within Polk County, but it's helping people in the northeast part of the county get other places as well, say Orlando or Kissimmee or places like that.
And with the Polk TPO, we work with our partners to the east and west, the Tampa to the west and the Orlando area to the east, other MPOs.
And I know that there is and you mentioned this already, the study, the 27 corridor study, that are, I think, one of the main goals for the study. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's to see what other alternative ways we can get across to I-4 or beyond, that we don't have to take the 27 corridor. Is this correct?
Yes, ma'am. The US 27 mobility study not only looks at US 27 as a whole, but also parallel routes. So we are looking at ways to alleviate traffic along 27 and also provide north-south movement within Northeast Polk.
I think that's excellent, because we just need to know those different kind of routes.
And there is, as we said in the beginning of the show, there's so much growth anticipated in that area.
Yes.
There is another topic that has come up often from my constituents. As you know, the Sunrail goes up to 1792 Poinciana.
Yes.
Am I saying that correct?
Yes,
Poinciana. And it stops there.
Yes.
I've just even heard it this past week that some people, legislators, U.S., Florida, are looking at possibly bringing the railroad to Polk County. Have you heard any, or you have any updates on that?
Well, maybe not updates, but back in 2015, the Polk GPO initiated a study with a consultant to look at the feasibility of extending Sunrail into Polk County. That study was done, like I said, in 2015. 3 stations were identified, and with looking at that study itself, there were certain implementation phases that were also being contemplated. The first implementation phase was to look at the possibility of providing feeder or express bus service to the Poinciana station, and that's still in the pipelines. We'll be working with the Citrus Connection, the transit service here, to look at that. And I think that somehow with these 2 routes that are operating in Northeast Polk, we can kind of begin to move forward with looking at analyzing that study even more so, providing express service to the Poinciana station, because it's my understanding that the Poinciana station and the Kissimmee station, which is phase 2 of that Sunrail extension, is kind of driving the ridership now. The ridership on those 2 locations are actually higher or as high as some of the other stations that have been in
Really?
existence.
Yeah, I just read an article about that the count, the rider, what do they call them? The tracking of the riders or something like that. Yeah.
Boarding and alighting of the
Yeah,
ridership.
that it has really increased. So that means that they're using it.
People are using it, yeah.
That's for sure. So all these areas are very important for the Northeast section, which is the area that I represent. So.
Well, thank you both for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Blackshear. Thank you, Commissioner Santiago.
Sure, thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Thank you for looking out for your constituents in the
Absolutely.
Northeast.
Absolutely. You'll see me on Highway 27. You'll see me at Posner. You'll see me at all these places so that I can see with my own eyes and experience the issues that they're talking about. So that's real important.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. We're going to have a short break, but if you stick with us, you'll meet Commissioner Wilson, and we'll talk about commercial solar panel installations in Polk County. Thank you.
Can we get strawberries? Okay.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Dad,
Just 1 minute, okay?
hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Drop that baby.
Welcome back. A new addition to Polk County's landscape are solar facilities. Here to tell us more are Commissioner Wilson and Cherie Jacobs from TECO. Thank you for joining us.
Good to be here.
Thank you. So how long does it take to build one of these solar facilities?
Solar plants are one of the fastest kind of power plants to put up, and we put them up in about 6 months from beginning to end. We have right now one that's finishing construction, and it should be up in a few weeks.
Cherie, how many are in Polk County, or how many do y'all see coming to Polk County?
Right now, for large-scale solar, we have 3 large solar plants that are operating in Polk County. We've got one more coming on in a few weeks. We also have a small rooftop display in Winter Haven at the Legoland Resort. It provides shaded parking for folks at Legoland, and it's a much smaller scale, but it was one of our first.
So it's providing shade and it's also making power.
Isn't that fabulous?
That's interesting. So you've just mentioned several different kinds of places. What do you look for when you're looking for a site for one of these plants?
Solar facilities' biggest challenge can be the land. These are large acreage, large tracts of acres, and they need to be kind of in close relation to Tampa Electric's power grid. So we're looking for big parcels of land and that are close to our lines that can serve a lot of folks in the area. Now in Polk County, we have about half of our current solar plants are right here. Several near Bartow, one in the very southern part of Polk County, and with more to come.
You know, I've heard that, you know, it's very expensive. You're saying that you want them close to the power lines. It's very expensive to have power lines brought to them. And it can become a lot of money involved in that. So closer to the power lines is better.
Huh.
That's true.
Now, when something like this goes in, I mean, people are fascinated as they see them go up, and then they start to wonder, you know, how's this going to look? And then, you know, you see berms and landscaping go up, and before you know it, you can't see it anymore. What other kinds of maintenance do you do?
Let me tell you about something that's very environmentally friendly that Tampa Electric does. For landscaping on the properties of our solar plants, we have flocks of sheep to keep the grass short. Now, it's funny, but it's also really environmentally friendly. It's 1/4 the cost of traditional mechanical mowing. And it's really cute. Right now we're in lamb season, so there's lots of mommies and babies running around in these fields, and we have our lamb cam going on the Tampa Electric Facebook site, so folks can come see those babies, and they grow so fast. We're literally watching these baby lambs grow up before our eyes, and it's very environmentally friendly. And as folks drive by these sites, they're not very visually obtrusive, right? These solar panels, they track the sun, and so they move from east to west, and they're only about the height of about a one-story house. But you also may see these sheep running around, so it is a great visual.
Well, it's a good thing they're sheep and not goats.
Goats might eat some stuff up.
That's right.
They damage things.
Yes, they climb on things and do. Sheep was a good choice.
You know, the site here in Bartow on 98, it's, when we're talking about building these sites, it's purely amazing how it's orchestrated, how they get it done. They bring a lot of people in, and she said how quick these sites go up, and I've watched the one here close to Bartow, and it's just, I mean, they have so many people there. They bring in school buses and take them out to their stations to work, and it's just orchestrated, and they start, and it's just amazing how it goes together.
Huh.
And you know, once it's done, there's sheep and nobody there. I mean, it's just a quiet facility.
Huh. They do make great neighbors. As the commissioner said, there's no traffic, there's no noise, there's no water use, and there's no emissions. They're very quiet, passive neighbors.
Huh, how about that? Now, we have them here. You're always scouting for more locations. Are solar panel facilities something that TECO sees as successful?
Our solar expansion has been very successful. So Tampa Electric, we're about 60% through our significant expansion in solar. In total, by 2021, we will install 10 projects across our territory. Half of those projects are in Polk County. Huh. And we have about 6 of them up now, with another one coming online in a few weeks, and more to come after that.
Wow. So what are you hoping for? Are you hoping that the solar is going to take away from some of the more traditional power plants? Are you hoping to augment them? What's the goal?
This is part of our broader strategy to step away from coal and improve our environmental impact. So this program started in the 90s, where we transitioned some coal plants to natural gas. We have another project pending at our Big Bend plant where we're hoping to transition that to 2 of those units to natural gas. Mm-hmm. And this is part of a broader plan to expand our renewables. Now, renewable energy right now, the technology available does not allow for 24-hour power from renewable energy. Of course, the sun goes down every night, right? And while battery storage is in development, and we're looking at that, you do need to have traditional power plants in conjunction with renewables to make sure our customers have reliable power when they need it.
Mm-hmm. Financial impact does this have to the county in terms of jobs and businesses?
You know, there's a lot of people that work on these sites that I've seen, and you know, a lot of people from out of town work here, but there's a lot of people, you know, in our area work there. So it brings, I'm thinking 300 people, 200 to 300 people that are working on these sites in and out. So it's a big impact to our you know, our county. I noticed with these sites going on, all the hotels are filled up. You know, all the restaurants are packed. You know, you walk around, and there's a lot of these people that work at these solar sites that are, you know, helping this economy in Polk County. And of course, when they're done, you know, they move to the next one. And I hope we keep having, you know, some more around in Polk County, because they're really great for the county.
Tell us more about Tampa Electric's expansion into solar power.
So we are about halfway through, a little more than halfway through our significant expansion in solar power. In total, we're installing 600 megawatts in 10 projects across our territory. That's enough solar power to produce energy for 100,000 homes. Now, we have about 6 of those projects online producing energy from the sun right now, and 3 of those are in Polk County. We have another one coming online in the next few weeks, and so 3 more will be built by 2021. Now, when those are done, we will have about 7% of our energy that's generated by Tampa Electric coming from the sun. That is the highest percentage of solar power of any utility in Florida.
Wow.
And down the line, we have more in the works.
That's fantastic. So it's clean, it's quiet, and it's bringing jobs.
Yes,
to Polk
it
County.
brings jobs to Polk County, and just like you said, it's clean and quiet, and it's something that's amazed me seeing what goes on here in Polk County, how it goes up, and what it can bring to our county. and what it does for our light bills.
Yeah. Well, thank you both very much. This was very interesting, and it's great to see solar power in Polk County. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for joining us for another edition of the Commissioner's Report. See you next month.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Oh boy.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Yes. Oh, hi. I suppose you're wondering what an A-list celebrity like me is doing in a place like this. You must know, I'm saving the world. Oh, hi, Beth. Yep, saving the world again. Did you know that 40% of all the food produced in the United States is thrown away? That means everything that went into that food, the pesticides, the water, the land, was all for nothing. Just look at this perfectly good food thrown in the trash. The pizza with extra Cheerios, these goldfish and Band-Aid tacos. And just look at this perfect trash burger. This pasta dog looks delicious.
You don't have to dumpster dive like Ed Begley Jr. to save the planet. Fight food waste by shopping smart and using what you buy before it gets trashed.
That's way better. Ooh, arugula.
Do your part and find out other world-saving tips at betterthaned.org.